Credit card debt is one of the features of the modern consumer society. However, as inflation rises, average Americans have been spending more on everyday goods and services than before, which spiked credit card debt to a historical maximum. According to a survey conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau called the Household Pulse Survey, more than 35% of households in the United States used credit cards or loans in December to pay for their expenses in the past week. This is an increase from about 32% in November and only 21% in April 2021, when the Census Bureau first began collecting this data, says Bloomberg. Inflation helped propel total credit card debt to a record $930.6 billion at the end of 2022, an 18.5% spike from a year earlier, according to the latest quarterly report by TransUnion. The average balance rose to $5,805 over the same period. So, in this video, we are going to talk about the unprecedentedly high credit card debt in the US. Feel free to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss further updates on economic topics. Now, let's continue. Last year, people used their credit cards to borrow $180 billion, which is the highest amount of debt ever added in a single year. This information was discovered by WalletHub, a website that helps people manage their personal finances. In addition, the last 3 months of the year saw the most significant increase in credit card debt ever recorded, with almost $86 billion added during that time. This is a chronic issue overall where we as a society have gotten more used to using credit for everything, said Michael Reynolds, a certified financial planner and owner of Elevation Financial. Credit card companies are incredibly good marketers, and credit cards have become the norm and a way of life for everyone. Since credit cards allow fast transactions and are convenient, it is unsurprising that a lot of people in America owe money on their credit cards. According to a survey by GOBankingRates, 30% of Americans owe between $1,000 and $5,000, 15% owe $5,000 or more, and about 6% owe more than $10,000. Even though 6% might not sound like a lot, it actually means that 14 million Americans have more than 10 grand in credit card debt based on the survey. Almost 40% of the people in the US are confident that they can clear all their credit card debt within the following year. But there's a significant number of people who think it will take them 2 years or more to do so. Around a quarter of them think it will take a couple of years, while 5% believe they can manage it within 5 years. Unfortunately, there is also a tiny percentage of people, around 3%, who don't think they'll ever be able to pay off their credit card debts. The recent report of the Federal Reserve is even more concerning. According to Quarterly Report on Household Debt and Credit, credit card balances increased by $61 billion to reach $986 billion, surpassing the pre-pandemic high of $927 billion. In addition, LendingTree analysis reveals that among America's 50 states, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Texas have the highest average of credit card debt. With inflation causing prices to increase, it's understandable that some people may have acclimated debt in the past year. Alternatively, you may have had debt before inflation started and still be paying it off. If you pay off your debt sooner, you'll save money on interest. Paying off your credit card debt, in particular, can improve your credit score. However, a recent report by Morgan Stanley found that 26% of Americans are choosing to pay less toward their debt because of inflation. This might end up being a decision that they regret. Contrary to popular opinion, it's not usually a vacation or shopping spree, says senior industry analyst Ted Rossman of Bankrate. It's usually something pretty practical that gets you into credit card debt. But unfortunately, it's easy to get in and hard to get out. Bankrate also revealed some ugly news about the ability of households to pay off their credit card debt. At the beginning of 2022, only a little over half of Americans had emergency funds more than the credit card debt amount. This leaves almost half of Americans who struggle to pay their debts. Economists list several reasons why the credit card debt rate is increasing. As mentioned, the primary reason is inflation. Credit card holders are spending more money on food, gas, energy bills, and rent than before. Compared to last year, the rate of inflation has been slowly down for 8 months. In February, prices for things people buy went up by 6% when compared to the same amount in the previous year. This increase is less than what we saw in January and way lower than the highest increases we saw in June, which was 9.1%. However, It's still much higher than the 2% target set by the Fed for the yearly inflation. When we look at core prices, which exclude some items like food and energy, we see a slight decrease from 5.6% in January to 5.5% in February. As the Fed hiked the interest rates to ease inflation, it affected credit card debt. When the Federal Reserve increases their rate, it's common for banks to raise the rates they charge their customers. This affects variable rate credit card debt, making it more expensive. If you always pay off your credit card bill in full, you don't need to worry about it. However, if you have a balance on your credit card, and especially if you only pay the minimum amount due, you'll end up paying more money in interest each month. It will also take you longer to pay off what you owe. Given that inflation is here to stay for quite a while, more people will find it hard to get out of debt. For instance, in November last year, Fed's interest rate increases were meant to fight inflation, but they've also led to higher annual percentage rates, APRs, for people with credit card debt to decade record highs of 19%. The second reason credit card debt is so popular in the new perks that companies offer. For example, DoorDash and Chase have introduced a new rewards credit card for people who use DoorDash often. If you have the card, you can get benefits like 4% cash back on DoorDash and caviar orders, a free 1-year subscription to Dash Pass, and $100 cash back after spending $500. But remember that borrowing money comes with a cost. The Federal Reserve's current policy of raising interest rates is increasing the cost of borrowing, including credit card APRs. So, if you can't pay off your balance every month, you could end up paying a lot more in interest. Also, remember that the DoorDash Chase card's APR can vary from 19.49% to 28.24%. Brookings Institution explains why revolving credit card debt may be disastrous for borrowers. Around 50% of American families with credit card debt had to pay an estimated $111 billion in interest and fees during 2021. This amount is almost the same as the total interest paid by all households on car loans and leases. In addition, a significant number of people who carry credit card debt tend to keep it for a long time, which can prevent them from saving money using their credit limit. If they can't pay it back, they may not be able to get less expensive types of long-term credit. Lastly, the younger generation is increasingly using credit card debt to pay for everything they purchase. A recent report by Bankrate revealed that almost half of the millennial and Gen X individuals who participated in a survey have credit card debt higher than their savings or funds reserved for unexpected expenses. Although many of them are genuinely concerned with the prices, it's the economy, inflation, gas prices, and food costs, says Lance De Jesus, 46, kitchen manager at the Golden Corral in York. A year ago, you could go to the grocery store with $100 and come out with a bunch of bags. Now I come out with just one bag, LA Times reported. He also added that he carries a credit card balance of roughly $2,600 from month to month over several cards, which have interest rates from 16.99% to 21.99%. Moreover, according to Bloomberg, Gen Z is racking up credit card debt faster than any other generation. Younger borrowers are the only ones seeing an increase in past due accounts, which could hurt their credit scores. Thus, if the current rate of inflation is not tamed and borrowers don't start to use their credit card debts more responsibly, disaster is inevitable. Thank you for watching. Feel free to share your thoughts on the increasing credit card issue in the comment section below. And don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video.